you getting on? How's your week been?
Is that better sound now? Are you getting sound now? That's all we need to know. Is there sound? Yay, this is Sam Haig. So, pretty good quality.
Great. Oh, Peter Bonetti. Oh, yeah, he went as well, didn't he? Yeah,
Norman Hunter and Peter Bonetti.
Yeah, Norman Hunter yesterday, I think it was, coronavirus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's sad.
Yeah, very sad.
Oh, we're losing a few, aren't we? Is everybody well while you're all in lockdown? Is everybody okay? All your families okay? We're going to be talking about quite a few things about football today, but we just want to know how you all are. Let us know how you are.
Much better. And me and Lee are matching today with that top. Oh, Ryan's wearing the same top as you.
Great, you've got your away kit on. Fantastic.
Oh, do you want to? I don't know if you can see what I'm wearing here. Do you want to read it out to people so they can?
Yeah, it says 5 opponents: Stoke City, Mansfield Town, Chesterfield, Oldham Athletic, Huddersfield Town. 19 goals: Parkinson, Caldwell, Murphy 4, Mackenzie 3, Ormrod 2, Bullock 3, Walker 3, Wellens and Taylor 1, and 1 Martin Bullock.
So yeah, basically 5 opponents, 19 goals, 1 Martin Bullock. This is the LTV Trophy Final, Millennium Stadium, Cardiff, 24th of March 2002. So that's charting our LTV Trophy run, which I went to all the matches on that run to the Millennium Stadium. Then you remember Martin Bullock, the golden goal. It's Huddersfield, which sent me livid actually, that goal, because we sort of coasted through to that game and then nearly lost that match with Phil Barnes messing up right at the beginning of the game. But, so yeah, this is my LDV Trophy 2002 fleece.
Okay, let's have a look. Here we've got, Toonami TV. Hello, Toonami TV. The documents have gone to the Premier League. Just fill us in on that one. Afternoon, guys. The Saudi Arabia takeover of my club could be on the cards.
Oh, gosh.
Saudi Arabia taking over Newcastle. Blimey, that's a big one.
A lot of money there. So
Blackpool Lad TV has been trying to do rainbow flick bin shots. Do we need to know what that is? Rainbow flick bin shots. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? Well, we need to do that. Rainbow flick bin shot. Yeah. William Edmondson. Hi, William. Okay, what are your thoughts on the Brett GTF problems with Ambassador's position at the club? Well, yeah.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about that last night. It's interesting, isn't it? I think the interim board made a lot of decisions that they had no right to make, really, committing the club to things and signing players up on long contracts. And I think there's a lot that they did that I didn't agree that it was their right to do, really. So that just sounds like another thing on that list, really. I don't know why they would do that, because as I recall at the time, the problem with hospitality was that it was too expensive and people couldn't afford to go. So to spend more money on something when they could potentially have just reduced the prices of hospitality instead, I don't know. Maybe they were trying to make it more appealing, more relatable. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, really.
No. It was a strange one, wasn't it? And it was agreed with the interim board, and it seemed, I don't know, £500 was a lot of money per game, I suppose, when, there are lots of former players who do things there totally free. Tony Green's often in there, Derek Spencer's often in there, Eamon O'Keefe goes in and does lots of work, and they don't get paid for it. So I suppose it didn't go down well with the former players, so that's probably one of the problems with that.
Great weather, but no football again. It's raining here. We just put the washing out this morning, and it's just started raining. We've got no time to bring it in because we've had to come on air. So yeah, not so great here today, but hopefully that will pass.
Toonami TV. Apparently they are 10 times richer than the Man City owners. I thought the Man City owners were one of the richest consortiums in the world, that Dubai consortium. If they're richer than them, 10 times.
You must be excited about that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, we may actually see a resurgence of Newcastle football there, might we? You may get a chance to win something if you've got owners that rich.
How was the English game?
English game?
Well, we've only watched the first episode so far. We're a little bit addicted to Money Heist at the moment, so we've been watching that. every night, haven't we?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic, and it's interesting. It's interesting to see how the rich people were just not really keen on the commoners playing football, were they? And of course, there was the fact they put a couple of ringers in as well. That their team from Darwin, and Jane was saying that they kind of do that thing even in non-league football today.
I think, obviously I'm not aware of any specific examples, but I believe that that potentially it could happen in non-league football as well, where clubs would employ a man on their books and put through the business, as opposed to because the clubs don't earn very much. So if you've got a striker who you're paying £200 a week, how can you afford that really? So it's. Yeah, but it sounds like it happened in those days as well, when it was an amateur game and clubs weren't officially allowed to pay players. The mill worker was paying him directly, wasn't he? So it's interesting.
Ryan Dunbar's just filled us in on the Scottish situation. We were going to talk about that. This SPFL vote. It's been a bit of a fiasco, hasn't it? Dundee weren't voting and then they did vote. So now, is that right, Ryan, where they're taking just an average of points through the season and calling it quits at that? I think there's a team that possibly could have got out of relegation because they had a game in hand. They're relegated? Is that right? I think Jane's been looking into that.
I think they're looking at restructuring the league, though, aren't they, up there? So that could have a bearing on who gets promoted and relegated. I think they might be. Are they looking to expand the Premier League with more teams in there? So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Just when gosh, we're getting a lot of comments here today, aren't we? They're disappearing off our screen. So, Josh Ayres, do you think Critchley will get us to the playoffs? This season or next season? I think definitely next season we'll be up there.
I'm not sure if we're going to complete this season. I mean, they've been relaying the pitch, haven't they, at Bloomfield Road, which we'll talk about later, whether they're thinking there's not a chance of the football being played this season. I don't know on that one.
Well, what I'm thinking is because they're not allowed to start training until the 16th of May, so the football's not going to start until, I would say at least a couple of weeks after that. But then if this season finishes, and this season doesn't finish until the end of June or July, then they're not realistically going to have a whole closed season, are they? I reckon the next season will start pretty much straight away. So if they don't have that closed season period and they run straight in, if they're going to do work on the pitch, it makes sense to do it now, I think. So I think perhaps that's what they're thinking there while they've got a break. Why not?
What's this? Dan's Planing says, is it acceptable behaviour to dunk a Jaffa cake in a cup of tea? What's your thoughts on that one?
Why would you do that? Because they're soft enough, aren't they? What's she thinking there? Because I think you
digestives.
Don't you dunk the biscuits to make them softer so they melt in your mouth?
Yeah, I'm not sure about Jaffa cakes.
That's very interesting.
Digestives, definitely. Even chocolate digestives, I can go.
Hobnobs are all right. They do crumble in the Jaffa cake. Why would you even think of doing that?
Used to dip toast in my tea with butter on it.
What?
Yeah, you could do that. Toast in your tea. Yeah.
We need to talk about this offline.
Favourite Blackpool game this season, says Sam Haig. Well, favourite Blackpool game for me. Southend away for Jane. It was Peterborough at home for me. I thought we played fantastic in that game. I thought that was probably the highlight of the season. We beat them 4-3. I thought it was a brilliant game. I thought we played our best football in that game. Second behind that, I would say at home, was the Fleetwood game at home, where we battered the Cods, which was really, really good.
Although that was a bit marred a little, wasn't it, by the pitch invasion? But it was dramatic. It had everything, I suppose, didn't it? So
yeah.
Yeah, that was. But yeah, Southend away for me. That was just fantastic because it was wonderful.
Post next season.
It was a great day out. It was great to see all my friends again. A lot of my Blackpool fan friends live down there, so I saw a lot of the Basel guys, and obviously we won 3-0. We just at the start of the season you have hope, don't you? And you're like, oh yeah, we can do anything. We could, I said at the time, I think about my post-match comments, we were 10 times better than we were at home to Bristol Rovers last week. And I was really, really excited and full of hope for the season. And then obviously, within a couple of months I was crying after matches. So things took a bit of a downturn. But Southend, to have hope, if you don't have hope as a football fan, you haven't got anything, have you? So
we were
Definitely
watching some of the games back the other day, and we saw the opening game and against Bristol Rovers, and when Jane's coming out, she was so excited about Larry. She was so excited about the football. She was so full of it. She was like, it's unbelievable. It's the best thing ever, and it's amazing how she went from sort of that to where she ended up towards
We're
the
thinking
end,
of doing a video
in tears.
actually of like my mood from the start of the season, just to like crying,
totally.
just Larry, this is what you did to me.
Yeah, I mean, she was so happy about Larry at the
was.
time. Leah Riley, good jobs.
Hi,
Leah.
Leah.
Thank
How
you
are
very
you?
much. Do you think Critchley will get us to the playoffs next season? I think he'll get us up. I'm going for promotion next season with Critchley.
Automatic. Win the league. We'll win the league.
We're going to win the league next season. Oh, Phil Corbett, that's how rugby union worked for a century.
Oh, well, what's that with the backhanders? Is that?
Oh, probably, yeah. I mean, rugby union. I used to know a guy who used to play rugby union down in Wales, and he used to play, on the quiet. He used to come and play for a rugby league team up in the north. I won't mention who, but he used to get paid, and it was against the code for people to do that.
All sports a little bit. Players you'd like to see come in the summer, asks Jordan 1872.
Ronaldo.
That guy, who's got that really good centre forward that we like, that we've seen recently.
Oh yes. The centre forward from Tranmere Rovers.
Yeah. Liked him.
Oh, what's he called now?
I don't know.
The guy with the funny hair. The black lad that scored against us, and he scored at Tranmere as well. I'd really like to get him. I think he looks a great player. I like Kieran Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah.
Really?
And
like them both.
Centre half that looks like Andy Morrison. Taylor Moore.
Taylor Moore,
Like
if I could
him.
sign him. Yeah, definitely.
And a decent centre forward. I mean, I don't really know of any, but someone like a Kevin Phillips or a little
little
nippy,
fox in the box. If you know one of those that we could sign, a little fox in the box. Jane wants a little Taylor, don't you? A little
a little Andy Watson, a little Brett Ormrod, or somebody, a little
goal
someone
poacher.
who could really sniff out a goal.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what Ryan Hardy's like. We haven't seen enough of him. I don't know whether he's burnt his bridges or whether there's maybe we'll be seeing him again. I don't know. But he's the sort of player that we want. But if he maybe hasn't got the right attitude, then maybe not. But maybe Critchley can bring out a better player in him. I think he's signed on loan, hasn't he, with Plymouth until the end of the season. But that said, the end of the season isn't going to be the end of the season, is it? It's going to be to a particular date. It's going to be in his contract, so he'll not be playing for Plymouth again if we want him back, technically.
No.
So who knows?
The Scottish PFL are a shambles.
It's
crazy, isn't it?
It wasn't handled in the best way, was it? But at least they've done something. At least they've taken action, which is something, and I think the Premier League probably would have done as well if UEFA weren't, desperate for them not to.
Right.
But yeah, it did seem they could have had a hard deadline, couldn't they? And that's what the mess was. But Dundee seem to have done the right thing. I think they've gone with the majority, haven't they? So
they were kind of holding it to ransom.
and they've seen Dundee United win the league, I think, as well, haven't they, or get promoted? So that must have been pretty hard. Yeah,
I can imagine it was. Toonami TV is still updating us on the takeover. His name is Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Amanda Stavely apparently has teamed up with the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund. I'm sceptical on takeover talk, but it's gone further than ever.
Well, it'd be interesting. It's potentially exciting, but I think, like they said on...
disconnected.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why.
On Sunderland Till I Die, at the beginning of that, if you watched that, I know I probably shouldn't be talking about this to a Newcastle fan, but at the beginning they were saying, if someone comes in and just puts their money in it, that the club isn't necessarily being run, if they take their money out, basically, then they can be in trouble. So, but no, it's exciting times, definitely. We got to the Premier League with some Latvian money, didn't we? So
yeah, we did. It's good if money comes in. I mean, you're always jealous of teams that have loads of money, but if money does come in, it's always great for your club. If there are any little drops in connection, it's because the internet at the moment, with everybody being online, is just not quite as good as it, not as stable as it used to be. So if there's a cutout, but you should still be getting sound.
Christian Wolstenholme says, "Hi, both. Your views on Tony Ellis's undoubted talent but shocking attitude to the supporters."
I never found he had a shocking.
Could you expand on the shocking attitude towards the supporters? I wasn't
Tony
keen on his moustache, to be honest, or his history. But
yeah,
I'd like to hear more about the shocking attitude to the supporters. I don't really remember.
Was there a shocking attitude towards the end? Are you talking about in when we failed to get up into the playoff final? Was he with the Zen for the 1996 for the? I think he was then, wasn't there? Was there some attitude then? There was talk of betting and everything, wasn't it, on that game against Bradford? I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently there were some bets placed for Blackpool not to win, and we were 2-0 up after the first leg and lost 3-0 in the second. So do you mean that, Christian? Because I quite like Tony Ellis up until then.
He wasn't linked with that. Was he still with us at that point, or had he gone?
Obviously, an Ipswich fan wants to avoid the season.
About time a decision was made. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but
the thing is, ultimately it's football's a business and there's a lot of money involved at the end of the day. And we were talking about this morning, weren't we? And how they're talking about going forward and the exit strategy for coronavirus and how to bring the football back. And a lot of people are saying, it's disrespectful to be talking about bringing football back, but ultimately it is a business. And if they weren't talking about it and thinking about how they're going to come out of this, then there might not be a football league, there might not be a Champions League, there might not be clubs. They've got to think about it, because this is it's a business. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of people involved. It's people's jobs. So it's they can. It's a difficult one. It really is a difficult one. They could make a decision like they have in Scotland, but there isn't as much money in Scotland in the lower leagues as there is in the English Football League and Premier League and the top leagues across Europe. It's a tricky one, but we'll get there. But I don't know.
Josh Ayres is asking our favourite goal of the season.
Now we've just been having a chat about favourite goals in the Basel Zoom chats before this. Favourite goal this season?
Well, I enjoyed. There's a couple of goals actually. I mean, I love the late equalisers, particularly Kieran Dewsbury Hall from that free kick. I liked the equaliser at Aki Stanley in the last. I thought it was a great goal from Matty Virtue. That it was. I know it only got us a draw, but it was a thunder shot off the underside of the bar. There was a game. Was it against Southend where they run the whole length of the pitch? And Kai's free kick was excellent, really, really good. Any of yours, Jane? Can you think of any great goals?
I have forgotten. Dewsbury Hall got some good goals, didn't he?
You didn't enjoy Cooper.
He did. Oh, he got a good goal. I tell you, he got a good goal at Wickham.
Yeah, away at Wickham.
I enjoyed that goal. I mean, it was a horrible night on so many levels, but that was a very good goal. Because I was saying for ages, we need a midfielder, we need someone who can create goals from nothing, and he just did exactly that on. I think it was his debut.
Nick, hi Nick, our Ipswich fan. Your favourite was Southend, where you won 4-1 in the hot weather. Yeah, it was a great day for you, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
Can confirm that dipping toast in tea is a thing. Jane should try it. Absolutely, it's marvellous. It really is good.
Yeah, but the trouble is I drink like flavoured green tea. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. What do I have? I've got chocolate and coconut green tea on the go at the moment, so I'm not sure.
Toonami says Blackpool should be aiming for automatics next season. Your new manager will want to push your squad like Holloway's did the Championship. We're hoping so. We really are hoping so. We really like the look of this Neil Critchley. We've talked about it before, but he's come to Blackpool with with a pedigree coming from the Liverpool Academy, where the way that Liverpool play, if he gets Blackpool playing that way, we'll be more than happy. That's the kind of way I'd love to see Blackpool play. And of course, he's got the connections through being involved in the youth, the youth football. He'll seen lots of young players and he'll know what they're all about. And his coaching skills are second to none. He's got the top UEFA coaching badges, and we saw it, didn't we? In the first couple of games, really, that he was actually making the team look like a football team rather than Larry's lopsided, whatever it was.
I wonder what he's doing with them now. I mean, I'm guessing he's in, or he ought to still be in daily contact with the players. Whether he's giving them things to do and they're working on bettering themselves at the moment. It'd be interesting to hear really what what's going on with it, because we haven't really heard anything from the manager or the players. I think the manager did come out with something some time ago, didn't he? But basically saying that football wasn't important and other things were more important, which is fair enough. But
I bet Larry will be sick because he got sacked about 3 weeks before the coronavirus. He'd still be there with a job now, wouldn't he? But he got sacked just before it. So, and we're saying it's a bit strange for Critchley as well. He's only just sort of arrived, played 4 games, and that's it. He's not played another one. So
update on Scotland from Ryan. As of now, Dundee United, Wraith Rovers, and Cove Rangers have won their leagues, and all bottom teams in their leagues have been relegated. But Premiership continues, but looking at reconstruction for next season. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, in a way, it's good that they've just drawn a line under it like they have in non-league, and just carry on. Look for next season now. It just saves a lot of hassle trying to get these fixtures fulfilled.
Hello, Mark Hempelman. Thank you.
Hello, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Jordan 1872. Who would you like to come in the summer? Well, we've already kind of answered that one, haven't we? Oh, Morgan Ferrier. Yeah, that's the name of the striker from Tranmere. Yeah. Jane would like a little fox in the box. Loved, to get Kieran Dewsbury Hall if we could, and Connor Rowan. You'd like to get both of them, and of course, Jane's favourite centre half.
Whose name I can never remember. Taylor Moore.
Taylor Moore.
Yeah.
Yes, Taylor Moore.
He's great. Yeah, love him.
Blackpool versus Fleetwood, Kids in the Trees.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. The Kids in the Trees. I do wonder whether Fleetwood fans watch from the trees every week, or whether that was just a one-off because it was us. It was I've never quite seen anything like that. I've seen people watching from the roof on the number 1 club before now.
Yeah, but never in trees.
Never from a tree.
How will we do in the Championship? Well, it all depends on money, doesn't it? At the end of the day, you've got to invest a bit if you go up. I think Simon Sadler seems pretty committed to actually putting his hand in his pocket a bit more than the Oysters did, and signing players on good contracts. So hopefully we do okay in the Championship.
The trouble is, though, we've
got
no money coming in, have we now? So
no,
but I guess everyone's in the same boat, aren't they, in terms of finances.
Want to laugh? Check out Peaky Blinders in lockdown. Brilliant.
Okay.
What's that on? Peaky Blinders in lockdown. Is that on YouTube or something? Is that a spoof thing, John? Don't know that one. Yeah, Tranmere player is Morgan Ferrier.
Yeah, he's very good. It'd be great to get him. I mean, Tranmere aren't doing a lot, are they? So it's not far for him to come. So yeah, that would be great.
Ryan Dunbar agrees with Jane. Total shambles, and the Rangers fans in the chat will know this, but we are seen as the bad ones here, wanting an independently investigation. Yeah. Is that what Rangers want at the moment? An independent investigation?
I think they were the ones that voted.
John Thrower, hello, JJT from Thailand. Just want to say good evening. It's evening in Thailand.
You got a singer on the go over there, have you? I suspect.
Toonami TV, we aren't asking to win the Premier League. We want a squad to compete with the very best. Yes, of course. You just want to be up there, and you just want to see good football, don't you? At Newcastle, they used to have really good football. And
yeah, as long as you get rid of Martin
Scotty Martin, Seaside, Barmy Army. Hi, Scotty.
Here we are. This is an update on Tony Ellis, I think. Looked like he was only at Blackpool for the money, never acknowledged the fans. Well,
did he not? I never really noticed that, to be honest. I never really noticed
maybe
that.
Maybe he just was...
I just thought he was ace. I really liked.
I thought it was great because we annoyed Preston by signing him.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny.
And he used to score some great goals. You always knew he used to curl them in, didn't he? On the edge of the box.
I think that there were players who were more guilty of that sort of thing, like Les Seeley, for example. I remember one game turning round to the fans, just doing that, saying he was only there for the money.
What was Lee's first pool game? It was like it was with my dad. My dad took me when I was about 5, so honestly I can't remember. All I can remember my first game is my dad throwing me up and down in the air. I can just remember him throwing me up as a little boy, but I don't really remember the game. But I didn't really start. He used to go to the odd game with mum and dad. They were never season ticket holders or anything, so we just used to go to the odd one or two. And then really, I kind of started watching it big in the 80s. Really, when I got paying me on season tickets and I had a job and everything. So I don't really remember it.
Should fans be concerned about where an owner's money comes from? The Saudi Arabian regime isn't exactly virtuous. Well, yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. But then, where does anybody's money come from?
Well, if you read Eamon O'Keefe's book about playing in Saudi Arabia, it'd terrify you. Where the prince was in love with him and he had to escape, basically get back. He was going to get killed. sounded horrific to me.
Valerie Bellicon was done for money laundering in some
No,
random country, wasn't
he wasn't done for money laundering. No.
He was, but it was in a nation that wasn't recognised.
He was done for allowing businesses to money launder through his bank. It wasn't him that was money laundering. It was just apparently he allowed businesses to money launder, which is probably just the same. But he didn't have to money launder anything. It was just people use his bank to money launder through in Kyrgyzstan or somewhere like that, in a kangaroo court, and he never went to it, and he just in a country he doesn't even recognise. So.
Army TV, Blackpool fans are the same under Carl Oyston. They wanted them out in order to fans to support the club properly again, also to have legit money to spend and not have it taken away from you. Yeah. Well, yeah, Ashley's a big problem, isn't he? So.
Yeah,
But is it a case of just anyone coming in just to get rid of him? Basically, I guess it is it?
I know you don't like Ashley. I know you want to get rid of him. I mean, he's not like there. I don't know if they were quite as bad as the Oystons. He has put money in, but the Oystons were shocking, really bad. And of course, the problem with the Oystons is they started suing fans. So once they started suing fans through the courts, they lost the whole. Well,
but I think neither party cares about people, do they? So it's a similar kind of thing. Conor Ronan smashed from 25 yards.
Yes, that was a really.
He's a great
goal.
Little player. I'd love to keep him. Actually, I think hopefully we've got a chance of keeping him. That would be nice.
Yeah, Ryan Dunbar, yes, we've heard that as well. If football is played behind closed doors, season ticket holders will get to watch it free on iFollow. So
yeah, it's interesting. I was reading somewhere in what country was it? I think possibly Germany. Actually, we'll go on to Germany. So in Germany, the players are back in training now. It's a little bit of a different situation over there because they've got a lot of testing for coronavirus over there. So, they're sort of a step ahead of us on that. So the players are going back to training. They've been doing a bit of cyber training for a couple of weeks. Now they're back at actual training, but they're doing it in a social distancing way. So they're getting changed at home, and they're only training in groups of 5. They're not all together, and there's no contact. But what they're saying over there is potentially, even if the football starts within the next few weeks or whenever that may be, that they're looking at no fans potentially being at matches until 2021. And I've been thinking about the exit strategy and how to get football started again. And obviously things are going to be staggered, aren't they? Bringing people going back to work. It's going to be particular sectors first. And I think with football, to stagger that by bringing the players back first and then the fans back later, because you're obviously bringing a lot of people together with the fans. So potentially it could be maybe it could be into 2021 before we're back at the football again. Maybe we'll start next season without the fans as well. It's
there was we did hear a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, that the football players were not keen on playing behind closed doors, and there may still be a problem with that. And the players are not really wanting to play,
but if things change and society changes, so they start opening, like we've been discussing, haven't we, maybe opening, if say bars open, but you can only have the seated outside area, so people can still keep their distance. So, and people are starting to come back out into society again, and then football could be sort of part of that. It's just small groups of people coming together ahead of, just as part of the staggered process. Yeah, so I think people will be getting used to going out again.
Nick Muller says the grass in the grounds must be tall and thick. Well, I don't know. I mean, our ground staff are definitely working on our pitch, so I'd imagine ground staff can probably still work on the pitches as long as they don't get too close to each other. I wouldn't imagine that.
Yeah, it's an outdoor job that groundsmen can do. Can potter along and do quite safely. I think so. I think they will still be being looked after. We'll be sitting in the north next season. No, we'll be in the south because we like it in the south. It's a bit too claustrophobic for me in the north.
And Jane can't see when people stand up in front of her, so it's easier in the south. We kind of it always was my block queue is where I used to sit in the old south stand, so it's kind of my spiritual home really. The concourse is better as well for interviews and stuff behind, but we will come over to the north a couple of times so we can get to talk to some of you lot over there as well and get you on video as well. So we did do a couple, but we just prefer the south really. We got used to it, but I prefer the north, the noise in the north, My two boys really want to go in the north, so whether we'll let them go this season on their own in the north and let them do their own thing.
Back to Scotland. Ryan says Rangers want an independent investigation because we have apparent evidence of bullying by the SPFL and the SFA, but I feel that nothing will happen. Yeah, I think they seem to have agreed, don't they? So I think it does sort of seem a little bit like sour grapes because they've lost the vote as well, Rangers.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Here's a debate for the ages. Can we say that Blackpool are a sleeping giant? Well, my dad always said that Blackpool were a sleeping giant because obviously he was a fan during, Matthews and Morty. He went to the 53 Cup final and everything, and he always thought Blackpool were a sleeping giant, and they just never, the Oysters didn't really seize onto that. I think already you're seeing when somebody comes in with a bit of ambition like Simon Sadler, and he started getting all these businesses involved. There's so many businesses in Blackpool who, well, hopefully there will be when we come back from this lockdown, but there's so much money in Blackpool. The club straight away, they got the Tower and the Waxworks and the Sea Life, they got them all in on sponsorship. There was that 11 Media based in Polton, and they're doing all there's a lot of money. And when I was when I first started the channel, I started going around to see a couple of businesses like the Windows Company and also the Grantham Sign. I saw Malcolm Dixon, the people that did the big return. It was amazing how much money these companies have and how much they'd invested in Blackpool over the years, and just were shafted by the Oysons really. And I think if Simon Sadler gets on with Blackpool businesses in the way he looks like he's going to do, there's a lot of potential in Blackpool, and it's just a great place, isn't it? You'd rather play for Blackpool than Preston North End.
Does anyone actually sit for any length of time in the North Stand? Well, you can't really. You just can't see. I think it may be over towards the west side. Perhaps you can do, but no, it's just...
Yeah, now here's an interesting thing, John. Yeah, John Thrower said the only common sense thing that Carl Oyston ever said was that paying agents' fees takes money out of football. Now, we were watching Sunderland Till I Die, and it was amazing the problems that agent caused them over that player of theirs, who his name just completely gone out of my head again. Madger, who had just come through the sort of the youth team, and he got into the first team, and he was on fire. He was banging in goals for fun. And he just wouldn't sign it. And he only just got into the first team, and they had so much problem with the agent. He just couldn't deal with him, and in the end they lost him in the January transfer window.
But then we've also been reading since then about how much that player was earning, and he was on something like £400 or £500 a week, and they were offering £4,000 or £5,000, and now he's earning £55,000 a week in France, which is...
So they couldn't compete with that. So I mean, his agent did a good thing for him, but they are a problem agents, But I suppose it's if you were a footballer, you would just leave it to your agent. Well, you wouldn't want to deal with the money side of things, especially because they're better negotiators than you are.
This is an interesting one. Nigel Savage says he remembers going to Watford and they had crowd noise coming out over the PA because there was no atmosphere. Wow.
Talking about that, now we went to Rotherham, which we obviously hated completely, and they had this, like, if you've been to Rotherham, they've got this, it's obviously the New York Stadium, and they play New York, which didn't make any sense to me because driving through Rotherham is nothing like driving through New York, trust me.
The area is called New York though, isn't it?
It's awful. It's just the whole thing. I don't even know why it's called New York.
There isn't a new Rotherham, is there?
No, it's awful. But they had this amazingly loud PA, and when they scored, it kind of drowned. It was so loud you couldn't even hear the fans cheering. It was just the PA playing a song. Oh, it was awful. It was too loud, and I actually like a loud PA, but that was just like it was ridiculous.
Oh, John Haley says the North Stand just reminds me of my days on the old Cop. P.S. Will the club exchange unused tickets for next season? Interestingly, I've just been putting the finishing touches to issue 5 of the Blackpool fanzine, which is the front cover's just been done now, and then it's finished. And the front cover actually of this one is a picture of the last day on the old Cop. Well, on the Cop with the Blackpool fans.
Can you remember which game that was, Jane?
I can.
We don't know. That's
tell
fine.
you.
Somebody might know it's the very last game of the North Stand before we knocked it all down. I think they let Blackpool fans in, didn't they? And that, is that right?
Yeah. Last game I was on there for the last game. Will the club exchange unused tickets for next season? Well, yeah, I'm sure they will do. But there's no one in the ticket office at the moment, is there? So.
Yeah, I'm sure they will because they owe us a bit of money, don't they? I mean, there's a few people saying you should support the club, but I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
about
they
that.
need the money, but we need the money as well.
Yeah,
don't
because
we?
we're not
So-
earning money either, are we? So to you know, if you got a little bit of discount off your season ticket next year, it would be quite nice, seeing as we've missed out.
I was at the game where Blackpool beat Newcastle 2-0 at St James's Park when you lot were in the Premier League. I generally thought you lot would have stopped up for an extra season like Huddersfield Town. Well, yeah, we would have done if we'd had better owners, wouldn't we? But,
You know, but this is the thing, you see. I don't think the owners cost us on that Premier League. I never will. I don't like the Oysters, and I never did, but I don't think it was the Oysters that made us lose
Shay
and
Given now.
get relegated. Shay Given they could have done, but even so, there were so many decisions that referees didn't give us. There was penalties, you know, disallowed goals that were offside that weren't, goals given for other teams that were offside. There was probably about 16, 17 points that Blackpool could have and should have had extra. You know, even the Man United game down at Bloomfield Road, it was a nailed-on penalty to go 3-0 up, and the referee just bottled it. It was ridiculous. It was the most nailed-on penalty you'll ever see, and that one penalty would have kept us up. And I don't entirely blame the Oysters for us dropping out of the Premier League. I blame them for everything after, but not for that season.
Adam Clark, he was going to buy the airport. I heard about it before he was going to buy the club. Is that Simon Sadler? Salford. Oh, hang on.
What's this?
Let's see.
He was going to buy the airport.
Soulful Aid said, talking of sleeping giants, I've become one since the lockdown. Must have put on 2 stone while sat sleeping daily on the sofa. Yeah.
Who was going to buy
We
it?
have it's possibly Simon Sadler. Yeah, we're
I thought it was that Henry.
we're doing we have a weekly weigh-in on a Sunday, and we're not doing too badly, are we?
No.
We do go out for our walks every day. Are you going out? Are
We're
you
definitely
able to
going
go
for
out,
walks.
Aid? And we sort of changed. We're having meals, proper meals instead of just snacking all the time.
All the rubbish that we're eating all the time, because you do get a bit bored, don't you? So we go out for a walk.
Yeah.
Could do with fixing the PA at Bloomers, absolutely. The PA is shocking. The PA at Rotherham was just way too loud, but the PA at Bloomfield Road
Colchester,
is terrible.
the
It's
last
terrible.
game on the Cop. Yeah.
Blackpool Lad TV is back.
Collier, miss them. Oh, that ground used to be awful, didn't it? I remember going
this
down the little. Did they only used to have one toilet in the away end? That was
versus Colchester, says
that was
Christian
pretty
Walton.
crazy.
You are
Yeah.
the fountain of knowledge, Christian. That was the last game on the Cop.
Pubs will go bust if we don't get out of lockdown. Well, number 10 Alehouse seems to be doing very well in Blackpool. They're doing a roaring trade in takeaway Thai food. I think the Bloomfield Brewhouse has started trying to do takeaways as well. I don't know how they're doing. And apparently a few of the chippies are as well. So.
Do you think Blackpool will now be paying... hi, Michael Richmond. Do you think Blackpool will now be paying similar wages to players as other League One clubs to also attract the quality players? I'm not really aware of what we pay. I would imagine we're on a par now. I would imagine we're... Especially seeing as, you can already see that players are signing like 3-year deals. Well, we never had that before, so I'd imagine the wages are pretty good. I doubt anybody's on this £90 a week in the summer, which Robbie Fowler's been talking about, that Carl Oyston offered him £100 in the summer. I don't think Simon Sadler will be doing that.
Adam Clark is asking what's it like to have a season ticket, because I'm thinking of getting one and I want to know if I'm getting my money's worth. Were you in the Mark Bowler's match the other night? So I was chatting to somebody about the same subject. Was that you? Yeah, I mean, it depends if you're going to be going to all the matches. You need to think about how many games that you're going to be going to.
If you're going to them all, it's
definitely worth it.
It's brilliant. It's I've had season tickets since I was in my 20s, so yeah, I've always got a season ticket. When was your last game before the fans came back?
Before the fans came back. Well, that for me would have been away somewhere at Oxford, maybe, or Wimbledon, just to tick off the ground. But the last home game.
For me, it was the one.
A long time. Is the game where we had the 2-year season tickets at the start of that season? I went to a couple.
I kind of abandoned it in that second season of Riga. I had my season ticket.
The Riga Revolution.
I bought that 2-year deal and I didn't go. It was about halfway to the season I stopped going. I couldn't get the kids to go, and nobody wanted to go. It was murder. I think there was a game where we were losing 5-0 at half time or something, and I walked out at half time. I can't remember which game it was, but I walked out, and I never walk out. I just couldn't take it anymore. I think we were 5-0 down or 4-0 down at half time. It was awful. That's when I packed in and I just stopped going.
Nigel Savage says Simon Sadler has sponsored the club. We shouldn't expect him to sponsor us too. Jane is spot on. Shay Given. Yeah, the reason I say that is there's an article that somebody's written for the fanzine.
Shay Given, yeah.
About Richard Kingson and about the goalkeeping situation that season. It is covered, and it just sounds, I don't really remember, to be honest, but it sounds a shambles. And if we'd had a regular keeper, then Mark Halstead played, didn't he? And
well, if you remember,
Gilts was injured.
Yeah, Gilts got injured, and then Kingson, somebody kind of ran through, didn't they? Kind of stood on his head on the back of it. He was on Sky, and he was out, and there was a chance then to get a sort of a replacement goalkeeper, and Shay Given would have come, but the Oysons would. It worked out about £1 million his wages, didn't it, for the last games, and they wouldn't pay it, and a lot of people blamed them for that would have kept us up, and it probably would. But having said that, I still maintain that the referees gave us nothing in that Premier League. They were shocking. Even the Blackburn Rovers game, when it was a corner to us, and they gave it as a goal kick, and they shot it down, and Kingston did whatever, he flapped at it, and rest is history. They equalised, didn't they, in the 3rd minute of injury time or something. But that was another refereeing decision. There was Marlon Harewood, West Ham, scored a perfectly good goal to win 1-0, but they gave it offside for somebody completely on the wing. I don't know who it was, but they said they weren't even interfering with play. There's a Gary Taylor Fletcher goal disallowed at Bloomfield Road for offside, and then they just let 2 offside fouls go against Man City.
Off on a rant there now.
I am on a rant. I'm totally on a rant.
You could go on for hours.
Marlon Harewood's goal against Everton in the last kick of the game, we'd have won 3-2 at home, and they disallowed it for what? He just went up for a challenge and put a wonder goal in, and they disallowed it.
Let's move on to the Stay into Toto Cup, which is the FIFA.
Yes, it was a nailed on penalty.
The FIFA competition that Blackpool are in, and actually doing quite well in. There's been we just got through the group stages. Mark Bowler's representing Blackpool. He's performing a lot better than Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. He's a good player. Actually, he's good at it. He's good at getting forward, getting down the flanks, and he's good at tackling. Yeah. Scoring some great goals. And we've got through the group stage. We played is it Rochdale and Motherwell,
team from Ireland, some sort of
Irish.
Waterford, yeah.
And unbeaten so far. I think 1-2, drew 1. And playing Cambridge. The draw was this morning on Talk Sports. We're playing Cambridge in the next round, so you don't tend to get a lot of notice as to when these games are going to be played.
No, you don't. So but it gives you a football fix, doesn't it? It gives you a football fix.
It's good. We enjoy watching those. So that's
what was Rotherham's old ground like? Well, funnily enough, you actually pass the old ground as you go into New York Stadium. It's kind of like a ghost of a shell of an old ground. So if you go to Rotherham, you can see it. It's a horrible place. It's really
everything
horrible.
About Rotherham.
It's horrible. The less we talk about Rotherham, the better. It just brings back bad memories. Toon Army, Gary Parkinson, our coach, had a stroke. He's our Gary Parkinson, isn't he, as well?
He was asking before about there was someone lifted a shirt up when we scored against Newcastle, and
well, Gary Parkinson, he's not had a stroke. He's in locked-in syndrome, isn't he? Where he's aware, but he can't talk or anything. He can communicate by certain ways, but he's got this locked-in syndrome that obviously still is locked in, but it's very sad. It's a weird thing, isn't it, being locked in.
Adam, yes, I'm Gamer King 88. Oh, yes, he's the guy who's in the...
Gamer King 88, all right.
the FIFA games.
Yes.
So, are you enjoying those games as well? We're really enjoying them. It's not quite like watching proper football, but it's... your lad plays FIFA, comes around here sometimes and plays FIFA, and it's just like, you really get into it. And it was actually a bit weird. After I watched him on FIFA for an evening and then went to a game the next day or that weekend, I'm like... It just doesn't look as good as it does on FIFA because you can see everything. It's very strange.
Sebi's really good at FIFA, really actually. I'd actually have Sebi over Mark Bowler, but he didn't play well, but Sebi's really, really good at FIFA. And in fact, I'd like to see a fans thing for that. It'd be brilliant, really. Have they got a manager yet for
yes.
Football Manager?
Yes, they have.
As
they
a
announced
fan?
It.
Oh.
Yeah, they announced it last night.
Peter Parr doesn't want any money back on his season ticket if we can't go back. The club still needs money to run, and Simon Sorrell's putting millions in. It's our chance to show we support him. Well, it is, but there's going to be lots of fans that are on this lockdown and are not earning any money. They're not working. It's tough times. I don't know whether everybody can just say that, but we shall see. But yeah, you feel like you need to support them. I remember once I won the Golden Gamble. I won £25. I think I got the second prize, and I just went and bought something from the shop to give them the money back.
News on the new manager at Blackpool. Breaking news from Blue Hill Rose boardroom. We're thrilled to announce Cameron Omar as the club's new virtual manager for the upcoming EFL Football Manager Cup. Welcome aboard, Cameron. So he's the official announcement. I think he's a teacher. Blackpool FC today confirmed the appointment of Confirmed the appointment of highly rated football manager player Cameron Omar as the club's new virtual manager for the upcoming EFL Football Manager Cup. Omar, who is a PE teacher and head of year in a local secondary school, is a self-confessed football manager enthusiast and has been playing the game for over 15 years.
Oh.
As well as previously managing Blackpool, Omar counts York City as one of his former clubs, where he guided the Minster men to the Premier League with FA and EFL trophy victories along the way. Wow, that's impressive.
That's very good, yeah.
Omar boasts an impressive record of 255 matches played with an 87% win ratio. Wow. And favours a 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress formation, playing attacking and expansive football. On his appointment, Omar said, "I've been practicing for 15 years with this moment and I'm so excited to take charge of the club I love. I cannot wait to get started." So to keep our eye out for
we'll see how it goes on. How do we find out about it?
I don't know. We'll tell you next week.
All right, we don't
it's
know
my
about
homework for the week.
Anyone remember the 2-0 win at Millmore to stay up? Paul Fletcher and maybe Colin Morris scored a 2-0 away win.
I don't.
No, I don't remember that one, John. I must admit, I don't remember that one.
I've never heard of Paul Fletcher and Colin Morris either.
Colin Morris was a little ginger winger, wasn't he? Was he ginger, Colin Morris? I remember he was a good player.
Do you guys collect memorabilia, programs, tickets, badges, etc.? Well, actually,
tickets.
I don't deliberately do
tickets.
it, but I've got every ticket that I've ever had. Every ticket for every match I've ever been to, I've got them all. They're just.
Tina has every ticket for every game she's been to. I
should put them in a scrapbook or something so I can actually look at them. They're just sort of everywhere around the house.
There's just hundreds of them. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've never
every
really
program I've ever
memorabilia.
bought. I try not to buy them now because I know I keep them. I tend to just buy them if I'm in them now. Badges, got a few badges.
Wasn't Ginge. Colin Morris wasn't Ginge.
Fanzines, if I ever pick up a fanzine somewhere, I'll keep all those, and obviously the ones that I put together, I've got copies of all of those as well. So, yeah, I got quite a bit of. It's not. I mean, the only memorabilia I've bought is there was a guy selling off back issues of fanzines, the old View from the Tower and the old Another View from the Tower. So I bought those off him. So now I've got the entire. I haven't even looked at them yet. We bought them in the summer. I think.
There's loads of back issues we could go through for loads of really good articles. There you are. Soulful Aid totally feels my anger re the decisions that went against us in the Premier. Absolutely, there were far too many of them. It was almost as if the refs had decided we'd become too popular. Everyone's favourite second team. Yeah, I think probably with Richard Keys wearing a tangerine tie when we were playing Chelsea, was it? I think was it Chelsea or Arsenal game? Yeah, on Sky, he had his tangerine tie on, and everybody's wearing tangerine, weren't they? Even what she called from Newcastle, she was in a tangerine dress, wasn't she? Cheryl Cole.
Cheryl Cole, yes.
Yeah, tangerine.
Nick Muller says I've got every ticket also from concerts. It's memories. Yeah, true. I've got all my concert tickets as well. Yeah, it is memories. I should get a scrapbook and put these all together.
Team Jane. I don't keep any.
But it is memories, isn't it? It's like I found the tickets when we went to see Kylie, and it's like, oh yeah, that was a nice day.
A ticket.
Yeah. You just bring you bring back memories. I did promise you a poem this week, by the way, which I haven't written. I do apologise for the Blackpool FC Community Trust competition. I've just run out of time.
There was a forfeit for that one.
I've been doing the I don't know what's that. I've been putting the fanzine together, so that's all.
10 press ups now. We're not doing that.
That's all. The fanzine's all finished by the front cover, which is with my the graphic designer Rob, who's putting the front cover together.
Bye, John. Bye, John. John's going. It's getting late.
All right, bye, John. See you next week, hopefully. So yeah, the fanzine's almost finished, and I've also got another deadline for Brick Football Day, which is tomorrow, which is the Lego football. There's a big day for that tomorrow. And I've just got an article to finish for the programme for that. I don't know if Chris is here to talk about the brick football today. I did invite him along. Not sure if he's did pop up and say hello. Oh, there you are!
Oh, he's here.
Hi.
FC Brickstown, this is the Lego football team that Jane and I follow. You can see us in the stands of the brick. We're normally stood behind the goals. I've got my sunglasses on, and Jane's been all sorts of things. They've had her as a witch for Halloween, where she left a broom. And this is John from FC Brickstand.
Chris.
So Chris from FC Brickstand. Tomorrow is Brick Football Day. A full schedule of games in the Bundesliga, Bundesliga with FC Brickstand at home to Broadfield Borough. Kick-off 7:45.
So now Lee and I have season tickets at FC Brickstand. So,
and they're only a fiver, aren't they? They're a fiver, and you get
a
a little Lego character of yourself, and your character sits in the stand and watches the matches.
And you get to go to the odd away game as well. Sometimes they'll put coaches onto matches, and you just the message to book yourself on the coach to get to the away games as well. And we have some great times at the match last week. We had the Easter eggs put on for all the travelling fans at the match last week, so it's really good fun. Chris comes up with such great ideas. Like Lee said before, like for Halloween, we it was fancy dress for Halloween, and I was the only one who turned up. I was there, sat in the stand dressed as a witch, and nobody else.
And you left your broom. She left the broom.
Left my broom, and I had to go and collect it the next day. So there's a special online program which includes a look at Interlocking FC and their squad. This is another brick football team that's popped up on Twitter. They've got their own accounts on there as well. So they're Brickstand's rivals. So
what league are they in? Interlocking.
They're in the same league, I believe, the Builders League of 4. So I think not sure where Interlocking are in the table. But
is it a derby game then? That one against Interlocking, would you say? Is it quite a derby? It's interesting to know. Talking of virtual sport, the Grand National was brilliant, and the Race of Champions computerised horses. We didn't actually watch the Grand National. We missed it. We just totally missed it. Groves was the most underrated player. Colin Morris, the other.
Yes, Jane will have an article in the programme. Yes, I will. I've just working on that at the moment. That's this is one of my excuses for not doing the poem that I was meant to be reading out to you today. So apologies for that. But the deadline for the poems. This is for the Blackpool SC Community Trust. They're asking for you to send in your poems by the end of this month. So the actual deadline for the poems isn't until the end of this month. So I will have one done by the end of this month. I promise.
Deadbait says he hopes he hasn't missed a showing of the ghostly scales. I mean, they are really weird. They've been doing all sorts of things today. I think they've gone into error mode today. So
have they? Oh,
yeah. So we don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, that's
tomorrow.
Mitch Cook's left foot.
Which one? Oh yeah, Mitch Cook's left foot.
He's my favourite blogger.
Now he's honestly, if you get a chance to read Mitch Cook's left foot, he'll have you in stitches. Honestly, especially the match reviews. They're so funny. Definitely recommend it. Where do you find it on?
On Blogspot.
Blogspot.
Just give you perhaps type it in.
Type it in, Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
Type your blog in, and then people can go and read it, because honestly, if you're a Blackpool fan, you'll just love it. Hands up, it's amazing. It's one of our favourite things to read. Sometimes there was one I was trying to read, and I just got the giggle so bad I couldn't read it out to you. But I couldn't read it. Honestly, I was actually in fits.
And the guy who writes this blog has also got an article in the fanzine too, which will be out, hopefully tomorrow. Yeah. But certainly this week. It's about Armand Nangelay, football genius, which is it's a great article, really.
It is really good. You won't be able to get the fanzine in paper only because obviously there's no printers open. So she's doing the online version. Where do we find it, Jane?
On issue.com, issuu.com/Blackpool Jane. But I'll put all the links on the Facebooks and the Twitters.
Yeah, honestly,
we might even do a little video about it as well.
We may well do. We may well do.
So back to Brickstand.
It's going to find it.
This Brick Football Day is to try and give a little bit of football while there's not much else going on.
Cameron Omar, we've just been talking about he's Blackpool's virtual manager for the upcoming Football Manager tournament. So
tell us about
it, because we don't know. We've just been saying we don't know how we watch it or whatever, but we're going to be definitely tuning in because we're just so desperate for football. With no football going on, it's driving us crazy.
We're saying your record.
Yeah, it's a derby.
Your record's absolutely fantastic. Was it 88% win ratio and getting York to the Premier League via some trophy wins? It was. We're very excited about seeing how you get on. But let us know. Tell us more.
No pressure, Cameron, on that. You've got to win.
Oh, here we are. This is an interesting one. FC Brickstown said Interlocking are looking for designs for a new home shirt. Yeah, I've seen one or two of those. If you go onto Twitter, onto Interlocking FC, you can send in some designs for their new shirt. So that's a cool thing to do, to get involved in. But brick football is fantastic because it gets you involved, and they are football clubs that are still going on, and they are still playing football because there's no coronavirus in brick football. So there's little stories that go on at the football clubs, and definitely just give them a follow. FC Brickstand on Twitter, on Facebook as well. And they've also got a website too. If you go onto the website, you can sign up. You can sign up as a member, for which you get a season ticket for £5, and you get a little Lego version of you, and you'll see yourself in the stand on the photographs on all the matches as they happen on a Sunday night. So.
And if you search through our back catalogue of videos, you will see a video where Jane went to meet FC Brickstand, and she filmed it for us.
And we made the Lego Lee at that night as well.
Yeah, so back in our back catalogue, if you look for it, there's Jane Goes to FC Brickstand, which tells you even more about it. You can find out all about it.
Which looks like very excited about Cameron Omar,
yes,
new superstar.
The new superstar, Cameron Omar.
Yeah, he's been chatting to the club, so hopefully going to stream all games possible. Great to hear.
Oh.
Yeah, so when are you going to start playing?
Hopefully Tangerine Army, always bored on a Saturday without football. Yeah, we know. That's why we're chatting to all you lot. Gets us through the Saturday fix. We actually love it. It just it makes the whole Saturday. We're still talking about football, so at least we're getting some sort of football fix. So hopefully you are as well. That's the whole purpose.
And it's important to keep the Saturday 3 o'clock routine going as well. So we've always, we know we've always got football at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. It's important to have routine, isn't it? Because without that, you can get a little bit lost, can't you?
What did the North Stand look like from the south against Bolton?
Super.
It looked amazing. Yeah, it's the one. It's actually sometimes I say it's actually as good looking at it as it is being in it. Seeing you all bouncing up and down, the whole thing going. It's great. I mean, the North Stand is really impressive. Make a lot of noise, but I've got to say the Tranmere Rovers fans who came away to that to the game, just more or less the last game,
amazing,
they were awesome. We need some drummers like them because they were incredible. That Tequila song was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
Up the Builders. Cheers, FC Brickstand. Thank you for joining in. We'll try and obviously we'll be following you in the latest football.
Yeah, we always mention you every week, so you're very welcome here every Saturday. We always like to promote the brick football and let people know what's going on because it's just great. Any football we can get basically, and I love the brick football as well. We haven't talked about Belarus.
Just need to ask Cameron though while you're there. The tournament is just a straight knockout. So
so it's a cup then.
I've never played Football Manager, so when you play Football Manager, do you actually play the game, or does that just play automatically? Is it all just down to substitutions and formations and players? Or
no, it plays automatically.
It plays automatically, so you could get knocked out straight away, could you?
Oh, I probably shouldn't say this, says Cameron. It's an exclusive, but I've been told that we've got a bye to the second round, so one step closer to the final already.
Ooh.
The first is tomorrow, and ties start next week. Oh, wow.
So Blackpool
TV exclusive.
Yes, there you are. You heard it here first. Blackpool are through to the second round with a bye. Thank you very much.
So we're doing really well. Like after Keane and Dewsbury Hall's disappointment in the what cup was that he was in? The quarantine, ultimate quarantine. We've got Mark Bowler doing really well in the Stains Toto, and now we've got Cameron. This is great.
Oh, that bang was terrifying. Yeah, that bang was.
Oh, it was
I wouldn't have liked to have been stood near that. I mean, it wasn't so bad from the south. Maybe we could hear it, but it sounded like a gunshot going off. But
we had a bit of a
terrifying
terrifying bang.
Really, if it was near you.
We had a terrifying bang in our kitchen this morning as well, didn't
Yeah,
we? The shredder fell off the tabletop when the washing machine was spinning and going.
Yes.
That's another like the haunted scales and the air freshener that's trying to kill us.
So you pick the players, the team instructions, the tactics, the opposition instructions, style of play, etc. Okay, so it's obviously technical. But
you've got
what happens if you played somebody like somebody had Ronaldo in the team?
I used to play Football Manager. It used to be Championship Manager, and then the people who did Championship Manager went to Football Manager, and Football Manager's like the game now. I used to play it loads, going back probably 20 years ago, and it's really addictive. It's fantastic. It really is very good. But you get like real life situations. I mean, it probably come on an awful lot since I played it, but you get. There was a player I used to sign. can't remember his name now, but he was really good. Appleby, and he was really good, but he was always temperamental, and you had to deal with his issues, and like you're like, well, what do I do with him? Do I fine him? And so you've had sort of like real life issues, and I mean, I guess it's come on a lot since then, but it was really very good. And when I first started playing, going back to the late 90s now, there was a player called Bjorn Heidenstrom, who was fantastic. He could play anywhere. He could play left, right, middle, defence, midfield, attack, and he was fantastic, and he always scored loads of goals. And we used to sign him from Leyton Orient, and then whenever we played Leyton Orient, we're like, who's this Bjorn Heidenstrom? And he doesn't exist. He's never played for us. He's just a made-up player. We were like, He was like our hero, Bjorn Heidenstrom, in the late 90s. So, so have you got any players that you have, Cameron, or you just sort of stuck with the Blackpool players, I suppose, are you, for the purpose of this competition? Are you allowed to do transfers? How does it work?
Nigel Savage, if there is any justice and the league is cancelled this season, the Bolton should start the next season with the same points deduction.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Definitely.
They shouldn't get away with that, or else they've not been punished, have they,
they
at
haven't.
all? And
more ghosts. Yeah, we do have more ghosts.
In fact, I can't believe they didn't give them a further points deduction for the fact that they didn't play matches really, because it was a disgrace and made a mockery of the league really.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I felt when we played Bolton at home quite recently, and our fans were chanting, what was it?
Going down with something.
It was something about. Yeah, Bolton get battered everywhere they go, wasn't it? And I felt so sorry for those Bolton players, because it just must have been so demoralising for them to just hear that, because they do get battered everywhere they go, but to have fans chanting that while they're out there trying to do their job and play football, in that moment, I'm like, I get it now why they didn't want to put the kids through that, because it's not for their mental health. It's not good. But as a
football player, I wouldn't go and play for Bolton. I wouldn't go.
Well, no, but it's a job playing football. People go and play for Milton Keynes, don't they? And it's just that they want. But
you're going to a
play for Blackpool and do the boycott. It's.
But there's a big points deduction. They're up against it straight off, aren't you? If you go in there.
But maybe you don't think that, do you? If you've got the opportunity to play League One football, versus League Two or non-league, you don't necessarily think of the repercussions and the mental health issues that you're going to have through.
John Halley used to play Italian 90 on his son's Mega Drive.
Right.
Don't remember that. It's only 54 EFL teams in the tournament for this Football Manager, so there's no Premier League teams. All right. They also mentioned about handicapping League One and 2 teams if they're playing Championship teams. Okay, so to give
do you mean handicapping the Championship teams?
Handicapping because
in this FIFA one, everyone's at the same level, aren't they? So.
The team he'll be playing with is the new update, so he will have Ronan Moore, Howard and Dewsbury Hall, so that's a massive bonus.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned early on, I didn't mention it before, but they said they'd like to see Kai fit again when the season starts.
Apparently he is. I think.
Yeah, so. I think it's one player we really missed, didn't we? Because he was amazing, really, and it's a shame he got injured, or we were never sure if he got totally injured or whether there was some sort of problem with him and Grayson. It went very quiet.
It was all very mysterious.
Yeah, it was mysterious, and then all of a sudden he was injured, wasn't he?
There's really, there's not a lot coming out of the club on a lot of things, really. The Kai thing was a mystery, there's not a lot coming out now. Whether there's not a lot happening, or it just would be nice to hear from people, really. The Community Trust are doing, we're doing a lot, and I guess that's they're really coming to the fore at the moment, aren't they? With the the colouring in competitions, and they have lots of things going on for kids, and they're actually doing brilliantly, to be honest. This poetry competition that I am going to enter as well. Are you going to enter that as well? Mitch Cook's Left Foot, do you do poetry? Are you going to enter that poetry competition that the Community Trust are doing, a poem about Blackpool?
Yeah.
It can be about the football club or the...
so we've got Kai in the Football Manager. He's available to play with no injuries, and he's very good on the game too. That's a good one to have.
Okay, do you have any injuries at the moment?
Yeah, I reckon Kai will suit Chris's style really well. So much energy and forward intent. Yeah, I think he'd be really good.
I love Kai.
George Harvey, hello.
Oh, hi, George.
Hi, George. What are you doing in lockdown, George? What are you youngsters getting up to? Are you playing FIFA, or are you just watching Netflix, or have you got schoolwork to do? Be interested to know what you're doing during the lockdown.
Have you heard about the pitch being renovated? Yeah, it's been dug up, hasn't it? I don't know exactly what they're
We saw
doing
something
with it,
in the Gazette. Obviously, they're banking on no football for a while, so I suppose it only takes 5 or 6 weeks for a new pitch to bed in again if the weather's nice. So I suppose if the football did start, we'd have a lovely pitch to play on, wouldn't we?
We're going to have a lovely lawn, aren't we, with our new robot lawnmower?
Yeah, we've got a robot lawnmower, which you may see videos of. We got our first robot because Jane didn't want me chopping my foot off with my lawnmower like I nearly did.
I could
and
see it happening.
I did go over a wire once and nearly blew myself up, so she wasn't too keen on me doing the mowing the lawn. So we've got a robot
he's
mower.
He's so good. We just set
we call him Morty.
Morty the Mobot. So we set him. He comes out and trundles about and does his job 3 days a week for an hour, and then takes himself back home and sits there. And he's very diligent. He's very good, and the lawn's looking better already. So hopefully, come the end of lockdown, we'll have a lovely lawn.
Jordan's football manager and Netflix. Really, I take it you're off school age, Jordan. Maybe off school, just doing that. I mean, we've been watching quite a bit of Netflix. I've been watching, a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of football ones and movie making ones, and I've just done a challenge actually to do a B-roll film, which I've just filmed for this other channel. So I'll probably post that on as well. You can watch that with pleasure. Making some toast in the morning, but you might find it interesting. but I like all that because obviously I'm trying to
fruit toast, not just any toast.
Oh, it's fruit toast. Yes, it was fruit toast. But yeah, there will be a little movie coming on of that soon. It's buffering a bit. Is it buffering? It's nobody's saying so. We don't seem to be buffering here. We did lose connection once. Hopefully the audio's still okay. But I am recording it on a camera as well, so if it's really bad, I will post it up in a different version, which is just filmed.
I've been reading a little bit this morning about the mental health of the players. The PFA have seen a lot more players compared to this period last year, appealing for help with their mental health. Some for some reasons that I hadn't really considered. Financial worries, because some of them have been panic buying and they've overspent. But also, I mean, something that I thought about, they're not going to be getting appearance fees or win bonuses or anything that they perhaps would have ordinarily had. Some have got gambling addictions, and obviously if they've not got the routine, they're not out training, they're not playing football, they've got more time to get in trouble online with that sort of thing. They've got too much time on their hands, they'll be getting bored. The lack of structure really, which I think we've made a structure. This LCTV at 3 is part of our structure to help us cope and and have that football on a Saturday afternoon. We need that structure. I'm fortunate that I'm still working Monday to Friday, so I've got that as well, working from home. So there is that structure that we have. But these footballers aren't going to have that, are they? They don't have the training, they don't have the
and they probably enjoy all the training and obviously playing football, don't they? So at the moment they're hanging around. It must be terrible. George is still buffering, but Nigel Savage is not buffering. So I know, post in the comments if you're buffering or not. The problem seems to be that the internet at the moment, it's just there's so many people on it that doing these live streams is more difficult than normal. And I've watched other big YouTubers trying to do live streaming and they're buffering as well. So it's not just us; it's just a thing. As long as you can hear what we're saying, that's the main thing. If you can put up with a little bits of stutters, but as long as the audio's coming through okay, that's kind of the most important thing.
Just going back around the world, Serie A in Italy are hoping to start testing players at the start of May, with a view to getting back underway over there. They're still playing in Belarus.
Who's that team you can follow in Belarus, Jane?
It's FK Slutsk.
FK Slutsk, whoever follows because they like the name.
But there is 4 matches in Belarus today, and they're all on TV. They're staggering them, so people can watch them all and bet on them all. So there's a big derby tonight, and I can't, I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's like Bate Borisov versus Torpedo Bell AZ Jodino, which is the big derby there tonight. And also there's still football in Nicaragua, apparently.
Nicaragua.
Yeah, I haven't looked into that, but I will do for next week. So that's where we are around the world with football at the moment. There's also talk. Oh, the Premier League had a meeting on Friday. So FIFA are looking into rolling contract extensions. Obviously, players' contracts expire at the end of June, so they're looking at rolling extensions to those. UEFA are meeting next week, and they're provisionally looking at the season ending on the 29th of August with the Champions League final.
Ooh.
So we'll see what develops there.
George seems to be the only one that's having problems with it buffering. He reckons it might be his phone, so we don't know. Everybody else seems to be okay.
Martin Gray says hi to you both from New Zealand, up the pool. Good job you're doing. Gosh, we do have people from all over the world, don't we?
Yeah, New Zealand. A Kiwi we've got in. Very nice. Yeah. Hi, Martin. What time is it in New Zealand right now? It'd be interesting to know. What time are you watching this? Is it, because I would have thought it was in the morning, is it?
And how are things in New Zealand? How's life over there?
How's lockdown in New Zealand?
Are you locked down?
Are you locked down? Yeah, it's a big place. There's a lot more space in New Zealand, isn't there? Is there a team in Nicaragua who play in Tangerine? I don't know.
Let's have a look. I'll look this up.
Jane will have a look for you. See if there's a team in Nicaragua that plays in Tangerine.
We were talking. I was in the Basel. We have a group chat on Zoom at 2:30 on a Saturday afternoon, and going round. I think there was about maybe 15 of us in there today, and we went round with saying what was our favourite Blackpool goal from over the years. Ooh. And that was quite an interesting chat. Do you want to tell us what your favourite goal's been watching Blackpool? And you guys out there as well, what was your favourite Blackpool goal?
Well, favourite Blackpool goal. I mean, one of the most favourites is going to be Charlie Adams' free kick at Wembley. It was never forget it really. Eamon O'Keefe's back in the 80s when he hit a ball that just was so hard. I think it was against Chesterfield. I think it was Chesterfield. I think it was a rocket of a shot. It just went in like an Exocet missile, really. I liked Varney's goal from the wing, that 40-yarder that killed in the top corner when the Prince was here. Oh, blimey. There's been some superb goals, hasn't there? Jane doesn't like Martin Bullock's golden goal at Huddersfield, but I loved it because it just the game was over and you could go absolutely mental because when that goal went in, it was just that was it, golden goal, game over. There was no more extra time. That was it, game finished. I've never gone as mental about any goal in my life. There was a couple of late goals. What was he called, Richards? That scored that late winner in the 90s from the edge of the
Walker.
Richard Walker,
the 40-yard header.
Yeah, well, it was edge of the box header. Yeah, right at the top corner. But that was a great moment, and a lot of Blackpool fans had gone, but we just stayed right to the end of the south stand, and it was a most frustrating game. And that was probably a goal I celebrated more than any.
I can't find a team in Nicaragua that plays in Tangerine, but that doesn't mean that.
Do you think we should adopt Mighty Blackpool? They haven't won the league since 2001.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth.
Sierra Leone, are they playing? Oh, well, the league got cancelled.
Yeah, my favourite goal that was at Hartlepool in 2006 in a 3-0 win. It was what happened was Hartlepool got a penalty down the one end of the pitch, and it was saved. And we immediately came down the other end of the pitch, and we got a penalty, and we scored it, and it was just amazing. You go from being down on the floor when you think you're going to be conceding a goal, and then just to seconds later just being just being completely. And my friend Basil Robbie, he used to be a bit bigger than he is now, and he lifted me up to celebrate, and basically his belly was like this and my back was ended up, he lifted me up in the air and my back went round his belly like that.
Ouch.
In celebration. I had a bad back for months after that, so that's a goal that I remember.
Yeah, Robbie, I hope he's not watching today. Well. That belly of his was major trouble. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed talking about them scoring and then us going down and scoring. The game against Ipswich, which Nick Muller's still here, he's probably gone now, but they should have scored something in injury time. They were clean on, and he pulled a wonder save off the keeper, and we just went down and scored at the end, and that was that was a great goal, last minute goals. You can't beat last minute goals, really. I would say they're kind of the ones you remember more than any, and we've had quite a few, haven't we? I mean, even the last minute goal against Southend on the day we went back, which was the equaliser, which there was an own goal. It was a magic moment.
Oh, that was Taylor Moore, wasn't it?
Yeah, Taylor Moore that scored it, but that was a magic moment, wasn't it? I mean, the whole place went wild. And the Football League show, they had like from the west looking across to the east, and you saw all the crowd go up it, because obviously the Blackpool fans were in the east for that, and it looked amazing when that goal went, and it was brilliant.
George isn't buffering anymore.
Okay, George is not buffering.
Martin in New Zealand, I'm an exile, been gone from the UK 20 years. It's 3:15 a.m. Sunday morning. We're in a strict lockdown currently. Maybe ease slightly next week. And
3:15 a.m. and you're still.
Gosh, you're struggling to sleep, Martin.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so you are basically.
You couldn't have got much further away than New Zealand. Blimey,
it's a long way away, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's hope the lockdown is eased for you next week. It's weird over here because we've sort of had the rules changed a little bit in that we can now, instead of having to walk just within the area of where we are, we can actually drive a little bit to go for a walk somewhere else now. So we're about 2 miles from the sea, so that we couldn't have got there on foot within the previous rules, but now we can drive. We took a little drive out. It's only about 5 minutes. We drove up and parked up by the front and took a walk down the prom yesterday, and that was it was lovely. It was beautiful.
There's no seagulls.
But yeah, we noticed there were no seagulls. It was really strange because normally they're everywhere, and I think they're beautiful, the seagulls. They're always there. They're always like really close up. They're massive things. But there were no seagulls. I mean, I know there aren't people there walking around eating and dropping the chips, but it was just so surreal to see.
We even asked Siri where the seagulls had gone, but he couldn't quite understand our question.
He's a bit. Yeah, we do stump him sometimes, but he can't sing either. We tried to get him to sing the other night.
John Murphy's belted a 25-yard half volley on the last day of the season against Bristol City. Totally meaningless, but he just got so much unjustified
No, John Murphy. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. I never liked John Murphy. It was for me because I was spoilt by Dave Bamber. When I first started going, it was Dave Bamber, and he was 6'3", and he scored every week, and he was wonderful. And for me, John Murphy and Ben Burgess and any of the big strikers, basically post Bamber up until Armand Nangelay, are just. I don't know what it was about him, but he had the goals given to him on a plate by Simo, didn't he? But I just didn't like him. I don't know. I've got a thing about like little nippy wingers and little fullbacks and big strikers. Really, it was only ever Dave Bamber for me until Armand Nangelay, who I know you adore, and I was just saying earlier that you've written about him in the fanzine as well.
There was that Andy Garner goal where he ran down the wing. I think he was against Preston, that wasn't it? All the way around the full length of the pitch. Somebody was giving near me. Dad was giving Andy Garner a load of stick, and he ran all the way down and scored a wonder goal. I remember that. That's one that's just going to come to mind. Ryan, you're going to set me off. You really are going to set me off here. The West Ham 2012 playoff final against us was on TV last week, and I couldn't watch it because I believe their second was offside. Well, I'm going to go further than that, because the first goal that they scored, they fouled Ince on the line. They just pushed him over, took the ball off him, and then sent a long ball in that they scored from. We didn't get a free kick for that, and it should have been a free kick on Ince. They should have never scored that first goal.
Just put the weapon down while you
while I'm ranting. And the second goal, not only was it offside, but they fouled Keith Southern right in the middle of the pitch, and the referee just played on, and then they went on and scored. It was ridiculous. Both of those goals should be disallowed against West Ham, and we should have gone up. It was a disgrace, that game.
Super Joe's goal against Bolton was the moment of the season. That was great, actually. That was wonderful for him.
What's going to happen when they say you can go back to football now? Will as many go?
Following the trawl of the seagulls, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting.
Cantona would agree with you on that, wouldn't he?
I tweeted last night, actually, because I just couldn't believe that there were no birds, and I was just wondering, is it the same everywhere? They all died or something, but apparently there are places that are seeing a lot more birds now than usual. There's a lot in London.
Haters going to hate Big Murs forever. I actually like Big John Murphy, and I thought Murphy and Owen Robb were superb.
No, he's at the club now, isn't he, doing something, or is he working with the youth team or something, Murphy, now?
Yeah, the prom is really weird when there's just nobody on it. It does seem weird,
There were people.
it's weird to be like really nice sunny day and nobody on the promenade. You normally used to it freezing on the promenade.
There was quite a lot of people cycling down there, and there were other people walking. There's a few people with the dogs on the beach. So it wasn't like completely deserted. But it was, when you're walking on the other side, on the, the pleasure beach side, there's normally, obviously, you can't get on the pavement there normally, and you could. But it was weird because when there were people coming past, you're like, oh God, and you sort of, I want to step into the road. So on the promenade side, it's actually better because you do have that space to give that social distance.
Oh.
And it's good actually. It was lovely because I haven't seen this. I mean, I moved back up to Blackpool back end of last year, and I've not really seen a lot of it because I work in Manchester and I come back to Manchester at the end of the day and it's dark, so I don't see any Blackpool in the evening. Obviously football on Saturdays and then recovering on a Sunday, so I haven't seen Blackpool really since I've been back. So, and I was waiting for the lighter evenings, and I'm like, oh great, I'll be able to walk home from the station of a night, and obviously now we're locked down and I can't do that. So for me now it's wonderful to be able to actually, now we can have a little drive out and have a walk down the prom. It's lovely to actually be able to see Blackpool, and for my mental health it's wonderful, to get that sea air as well, which is, always clears the head. I always found when I was at school and I was really struggling to write an essay or something, I would just go down to the sea, and just like everything would just come to me, and I'd know exactly what I was doing. And it's lovely to have that now. It just feels like a step back to normality to be able to go to the sea.
Has anybody watched Blackpool FC Brazil on Twitter? Obviously originated in Brazil, and it's in Portuguese, but their logo includes Pool's badge.
Oh.
They seem a keen lot. No, I haven't. Well, check out that. Thank you, Soulful Ale. Blackpool FC Brazil. Yes, Ryan Dunbar remembers it all well at the playoff final, and I had to laugh when Jane said to put the weapon down.
It hits me in the face once a day, honestly. It's a regular thing, so to actually have an extension on his arm is a little bit disturbing.
Zico Bamba had a neurological problem in his early 20s. They took all his teeth out and then found out it was to do with his feet, his toenails.
What? Really?
Oh.
How strange. Is that true?
Gosh, that's no planes flying over where.
Yeah,
we do see planes occasionally, because they are flying like ghost flights, aren't they, at the moment? Because obviously the planes need to be flown about. Otherwise, there are problems when they do come back into service.
Cameron's off. Great stream, guys. I've got to shoot, but keep up the great work. Give me a shout if you like more info about the tournament. Yes, we would. I'll be tweeting more about it and hopefully stream everything. Yeah, well, we're here every Saturday, so if you want to pop back next week, that would be brilliant.
And we'll definitely watch you, because we're watching anything. We've been watching the Stay Into Toto Cup, and we watched Kieran Dewsbury Hall in the what was it called?
The quarantine.
The ultimate quarantine, which was a bit disappointing. But because it's Blackpool, you do actually get the same sort of passion that you want to win.
It's weird though, because
I found myself shouting at.
I think there were 7,000 people watching that one, but it doesn't seem to be quite as many people watching these. These Toto Cup matches. Whether it's because they don't announce them until like
they're very last minute, aren't they?
Yeah, so if we could if you could let us know in advance, Cameron, if you're still there, so we can schedule them. That would be
nice to talk to you, Cameron. Thanks a lot. We will be rooting for you in the Football Manager, definitely, and we'll keep people up to date in this stream as well. I know how you're doing, and join us at any time. It's great.
Ryan says, in regard to whether fans will still go after this is over, apparently teams will need to play with a half capacity as 2 metre rule will stand. Yeah, well. Yeah, potentially, but like I was saying before, it's potentially could be next year before we're allowed back at football. Yeah,
Deb Bates thinks they've gone mad without a bike. I mean, we're mainly just walk. We do about an hour walk every lunchtime. It's pretty quiet out where I live, out on the moss, and you can wander around. It's lovely, and there's not many people around, so we are getting some fitness in, which is keeping us sane.
Now you go down to the sea to see the Blackpool FC. Great chant, yeah.
Yeah. Was definitely a great.
We haven't been down to Squires Gate, actually. We need to
make Blackpool FC Brazil a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. We need to gather as much football as we can from around.
It's funny how Kieran Dewsbury Hall was unbelievable. Yet he played bad on FIFA, so we've kind of gone off him a bit. Because he was hopeless. He was making excuses when he came on.
He was making excuses before he started. I've not played this version before.
I haven't played this version, and he was moaning that the other guy was holding the ball too long, and his boy. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing, really, to be honest. Bowler's a lot better. I've got to admit.
It's how fickle we are, though, isn't it?
Yeah, we are. He just goes to sleep a bit, Bowler, on defending. He gets himself. He was winning 4-0, and he kind of like 2 goals, and you're thinking, oh my god! But then he got a 5th, didn't he, to finish it off.
Yeah, but the thing is, we'd missed football. It'd only been about 2 weeks when Dewsbury Hall played this game, and we'd had like 2 weeks without football, and we're like, oh yeah, maybe we'll miss it. I wasn't missing it too much because obviously I hated it anyway back in the last season. It was just I wasn't enjoying it at all. But it was like, oh, we've got a match to watch, and we watched this, and then it was just disappointing. It was just like, oh yeah, that's what it was like. And it just brought all that feeling back. We'd forgotten how bad it was. And he was there and he was dancing around the edge of the box with the ball. And like, for God's sake, just shoot. Yes, exactly. And he wasn't shooting. Oh, yeah, this is what watching Blackpool's like. Actually, Bowler just makes you forget because he's...
He keeps picking the ball up and he keeps intercepting and picking it up and stuff, whereas Kieran Dewsbury Hall just...
see you, Nigel. Stay safe too, and hopefully see you next week.
Yeah, up the very mighty pool. Yes, absolutely. Bye, Nigel. Thanks a lot for... Yes, thanks a lot for joining in.
Right, is there anything we haven't covered off my list?
Do you remember the Blackpool versus Rangers friendly was wearing both teams' colours that day and singing both teams' chants? Yeah, I do remember that, yeah. I do remember the friendly Rangers.
I don't know
Rangers come down, but...
I stopped going to
friendlies? We didn't go to it because that would be just as the... Would that be as the boycott started 2012-13?
I think
I think it was...
Oh, Ben's here. Hi, Ben.
Oh, hello, Ben. Our favourite Fleetwood vlogger has arrived. He's got a fantastic channel, by the way. It's called Cod's Vlogs, and it's really good. And we tend to, watch it all the time. And it's great to see you, Ben.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing very well, actually, aren't we? We're just saying it's great that we're allowed to go to the sea now. So that's been a massive boost. We've got our robot lawnmower, which we're very happy with. We're enjoying watching Money Heist on Netflix.
And of course, we just started the English game.
Which is very good. Yeah, we've got
our baddies in that already, haven't we? Yeah, we have. We quite enjoyed that. So we're keeping ourselves entertained. I've been working on videos. I watched a channel last week, and they did like a B-roll film between themselves, like a challenge, and they also said, send in your B-roll film. So I've done a little one myself, so I'll be posting that up this week sometime. You can watch it. It's making some fruit toast, but it's a little bit of a go at making some sort of little movie while I'm bored.
Ben says Atypical's very good. What's that about?
Atypical.
I've seen it on Netflix, but I don't know. I haven't watched the trailer or anything. Hi, Paul Blue Nose.
Yeah, we could almost have new teams when football starts again.
Yeah, we'll have Kai back, so that's a bonus.
Although Blackpool did have signed quite a few players on a few-year deals, which is unheard of at Blackpool for I don't know how long. But
but we'd have no Nangele.
No Nangele.
These loan players potentially not. We could have Ryan Hardy back. As his loan's going to expire.
He's working on the best of interviews for the Channel 3 part series. Oh, right, okay.
All right, cool. Yeah, we've got some ideas. We need to get on with those, really, don't we?
We've got a few.
Too busy. It's crazy.
Yeah, we have got a few videos that we're going to do. It's just getting round to doing.
Struggling a little bit with that. I suppose, like when we had the matches, we had deadlines. We had the routine, and I think we're struggling a little bit with the disciplining ourselves really to have deadlines to get things done. So
dead bait's off. It's going to make some dinner and use his phone to look it up. Always a pleasure. See you later, dead bait.
Good luck with your recipe.
Yes.
And catch you soon. Look forward to your next blog.
Nick Muller. I've been finding loads of Ipswich shirts and scarves we bought that he's forgot about. Oh right, okay. How long have you been following Ipswich for, Nick? How many years? Maybe spend first half in one and the second in the sorry, I lost, what was that for?
Which
Ryan?
end to go in, was it?
Oh, which end to go in?
Done the chicken and yeah.
Oh yes, for the Rangers Blackpool. Yeah, for the Rangers Blackpool. Yeah, you could probably move across, couldn't you? I mean, there was a time when we used to sit in the north when there wasn't many going in the new north, and you could kind of go across at half time and go and sit down near the south end, and you could get you could watch him kicking both ways, which was quite good. I used to quite enjoy that. I mean, you can't do it so much now, but you used to be able to move across.
Oh, that's interesting. Ben says he's missing. At least if it's behind closed doors, you can do watch-alongs. Yeah, we can. We can do watch-alongs, can't we? When the games are on iFollow.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You can watch us watching the game.
So. Oh yeah, and I thought watch us watching the game actually.
No, that'd be it could be quite interesting.
He's missing at least if it's behind closed doors, you can do watch-alongs. Yeah.
Oh, Chris Lomas is here as well. Hi, Chris.
Yes, if Blackpool did do a return leg up at Ibrox, well, I'd love to go. I've never been to Ibrox, so it would be great. In fact, I've never been to any Scottish football game, so it would be really good.
Yeah,
I actually watched the Bolton vlogger, what's he called? I've just gone completely out. Thogden, yeah. He went up to Ibrox and...
it looks amazing, didn't it?
Yeah, it was for a European night. It's a good video, actually. It was great. Yeah, it was a great night. The atmosphere was amazing. It did look really amazing there at Ibrox.
Not been up to Scotland for a few years. I went to...
Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris. Yeah, fine, thanks. How are you? Coping in lockdown? Are you doing much videos and stuff, or are you just watching Netflix like everybody else, or have you got things on the go? I was just saying, I've actually watched a video where these guys were doing a bit of a B-roll challenge. They had to film and then edit and put the B-roll on and see which one was the best. And they've said if anybody wants to have a try, they can send it in. So I've tried making a little B-roll movie of me making some toast. So that'll be coming on soon. I should keep you all highly entertained.
Re Scotland, I went up for a few friendlies. When Colin Hendry was manager, we had a week in Inverness, which was beautiful, and we played Callie and Keith and Ross County, I believe. Also, where else did we play? We played up at Ayr the one time. Been to Partick Thistle, and I think it was Dundee or Dundee United. I can't remember which one. I know it wasn't the one we played this year. I think we played Dundee pre-season this season, didn't we? And I didn't go to that one, so maybe it was Dundee United I went to. But yeah, I've been to a few games. I always love going up to Scotland. It's I'd like to. I was thinking pre-season this season definitely would be going along to those, but perhaps we're not going to have a sort of normal pre-season this year, which is a shame. I always love going up there.
Yeah, Chris says, he feels like every day he's living Groundhog Day. It is quite good, but I'm actually enjoying the rest from work a bit and playing around with videos and stuff. So I'm keeping myself amused at the moment, and we're getting more exercise than we got before. I've been out sorting out the garden, which is taking a bit of my time this week. So we're kind of doing different things, but we feel very chilled out with it all, to be honest, and quite chilled out with life. It's we don't have to be rushing around as much as I was, so I've calmed down quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean we've got.
Yeah, a game at Ibrox would be great, wouldn't it?
We've got to carry. This is what we've got. This is our lot now, so we've got to make the best of it. Really, there's nothing we could do about it. We can't make any more money, and we can't go out. We can't spend money either. So I guess that kind of offsets it a little bit, and it just is what it is. We're just got to make the best of the situation. So that's what
actually say, Ryan, I would actually come up to Ibrox and watch a game if you've got a really good game on and Blackpool haven't got a game up. We'd come and meet you. It'd be great. I'd love to come and do a little vlog at Ibrox if you could arrange something. Even if Blackpool aren't playing and we'll just come up and watch Rangers play, it would be great because I've never been and I'd like to go. So definitely arrange something like that for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely, Chris, we are staying safe. Yeah, we're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing. We're stopping in. We're just going out for our walks once a day and doing our social distancing. Going for a shot once a week. Wearing our gloves and social distancing, and we're behaving.
David Worley just said he's watched the highlights of Blackpool versus Fulham in 1976. Was that on YouTube? You watched on YouTube, where we won 3-2. Our last goal was by Mickey Walls. Still remains the best headed goal I've seen at Bluefield Road. The way he hung in the air to head it in. Oh, if it's on YouTube, I'll have to check it out. Always looking for something to watch.
Going back to the 70s, by the way, there's an article in the fanzine which will be out very soon, issue 5, about the 1970-71 season, which was a season where we won promotion and relegated Preston. So there's a guys who went to every game that season has written a review of that season. So that's an interesting read. from a memorable
What do you
season.
think will happen after these next 3 weeks of lockdown?
I think we'll have another 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with Nick on that. I don't think we're good. I think we're in for this for a long run. I don't think it's going to get any easier anytime soon. It seems to be getting. I mean, they say they're flattening the curve, but the numbers keep going up in Blackpool. So I'm not convinced that we're anywhere
we're
near
up to
safe.
200 in Blackpool.
We're not safe yet. Oh yeah, your new Ben Hennigan shirt for Chris. Yeah, so you've moved to a new house. How have you managed to do that in lockdown? That must have been difficult, mustn't it? Moving to a new house, because we saw a few houses that that were sold, and we were saying, I wonder how people are going on with moving. So obviously it's still possible.
209 coronavirus cases in Blackpool now.
Yes, definitely, Ryan. We will definitely come up to Ibrox and see a game. Even if Blackpool don't play, we will come up. As soon as the football season's back on, I will definitely do an away day at Ibrox. I really fancy it, so it'd be great. It'd be lovely to meet you and everything. It'd be wonderful. Cosvog thinks 8 more weeks. Well, I was kind of saying it's going to be July. I mean, they do say the hotter weather tends to should calm it down a bit, so hopefully it will. But
no, I don't think we'll be going anywhere till August.
No, I don't.
To be honest.
No. In fact, there's a big worry as to whether Blackpool season's going to be on at all, whether they'll get the illuminations on, whether they'll put the illuminations up. I don't even know.
Well, the illuminations, you can do that in social distance, can't you, though?
Yeah, you can't. Is there any point in putting them up if there's nobody going to come? You know, it's a lot of expense to put them all up, isn't it? If there isn't going to be no illumination.
Well, if people can get out and about, travel about in their cars and do safe things, then why not put safe things on that people can do?
Yeah, I suppose you could go through the illuminations in your car, can't you? So
it's different to the pleasure beach, isn't it, where people are in closer proximity.
It's so odd. I mean, we were saying, if you only just joined, that Jane and I went out for a walk because we can. They said in the paper now you can drive your car down to somewhere and walk. So we drove down to the promenade, and we had a wander from Stargate up to South Pier, and there was hardly anybody there, but there was no seagulls, there was no people. The pleasure beach was like a ghost town. Obviously it would all be, hotels were shut. It was just the weirdest thing, and it's like, not in the winter time, it's in the summertime, which is, you normally see it bustling with holiday makers, and it was very odd and quite sad really, but also
but beautiful at the same time. It was lovely, actually. It was lovely to be able to enjoy Blackpool without all the tourists.
Yeah, you kind of had like Blackpool front to yourself, you know what I mean? It was just there was only about, I don't know, we probably bumped into about 10 people on the whole walk, so you just had the whole promenade of Blackpool to yourself. It was strange.
Have you heard about why GTF and Brett's are not ambassadors at Blackpool now? I heard it on a podcast. I've started listening to the podcast. I haven't finished listening to the podcast yet.
There's been trouble over the money, hasn't there? There's been trouble over the money they were paid. Apparently they were getting £500 for every game, and there's other former players that are there all the time, like Tony Green's there often, Derek Spence is there all the time, Eamon's there quite a lot, and they don't get paid. They do it all for free. So I think there's been a bit of I don't think it went down very well with the former players.
But also it's something that the interim board arranged that they were committing the club to going forward, which potentially didn't really have any right to do. I think they committed the club to quite a lot of outgoings. They signed a lot of players up on long contracts, and there's a few other things that they did that perhaps, in retrospect, I think they did a lot of damage. Actually, the interim board, I don't think they were the heroes, just because the Oystons are gone just doesn't mean that the people who come in were going to be any better necessarily, and I think they did a lot of damage, but they've gone now, and hopefully things are the ship's steadying and things are going in the right direction now. So.
Do we think the Ride the Lights will take place? Well, it all depends. That's normally the end of August, so hopefully no, you wouldn't think so. No. It all depends on how this, whether they get a cure or whatever, or whether they really stop this virus. Otherwise, I don't think it'll be on.
Blackpool's a town that relies on its tourism. I can't see how businesses will cope without summer trade. No, but I mean,
there's going to be a lot of businesses
going forward. Are people more likely to stay in this country as opposed to travelling overseas? When it comes to their holidays, if they're struggling financially after this, and they're a bit wary maybe of travelling overseas. Maybe in the long run, it could be better. Obviously it's going to decimate the industry, isn't it, this year? But
it makes you wonder how all the hotels and stuff are going on with with business rates and stuff, because they're obviously got they've got nobody staying there. So Well, the council have relaxed on the business rates. I
think they're going to
find that hard to
really.
find that hard to believe. Not with this council anyway. But
Nick says he gets the whole bus to himself in the mornings when he goes to work. Yeah, I mean we see buses. You know, when we go on our walks, sometimes we see buses and there's no one on, or there's one person upstairs and one person downstairs. And I believe that London are putting on free buses now.
But you can only go on the back or something.
You can only get on the back, so you're nowhere near the driver when you're getting on. So, Cod's Vlogs.
How do they get on the back?
Well, they're different buses in London, yeah.
Like bendy buses, those bendy buses.
No, they're just, you remember the old buses that we used to have up here? Where you used to get on at the back and the stairs going up the back. Yeah, they're like that.
So, they have them, yeah.
Cod's Vlogs, do you think Blackpool will pay full wages still? Fleetwood have started a wage deferral.
We've not heard anything yet, have we? It's one thing that, we're not hearing very much.
We're not really. There's not a lot coming out of the club at all. I know Andy Pilley's started doing a daily update, has he? What's he been saying? I haven't watched any of his updates, but is he coming out with anything interesting on the day-to-day at Fleetwood?
Yeah, Nick says he thinks people will be staying in England for the next couple of years. I can see a lot of people not going abroad, not wanting to fly on planes and stuff with somebody. It's just.
But I mean, are the airlines going to survive this? It's a struggle for them. So is it going to be as easy? Is it going to be cheaper, more expensive to travel overseas? It's, I don't know. But then you say people are at different ends of the spectrum are going to be affected differently by this, because whereas some people, are really struggling to make ends meet at the moment because they're not earning, there are other people who maybe get money from investments or don't need to work, that they're not able to spend the money, so they've actually got more money, they've got it piling up because they've got nothing to spend it on. Normally they'd be going on holidays or having the kitchen done or whatever, and they've got more money than they would normally have.
Yeah.
So there's,
people will have more money.
There's different, it's kind of an offset really, because we're not earning enough to pay the bills at the moment, but then also we're not spending, I'm not going to football every Saturday, and we're not, going to have our chippy tea on a Friday, or not having takeaway, we're not going to the pub to eat, so we're actually not spending, our outgoings, we've got bills and food, and that's it. Whereas normally I'd spend a good £100 on a Saturday going to football, so it swings and roundabouts, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to say it's very strange times. It is almost like living in some sort of like surreal Hollywood movie. It's hard to believe that it is what it is. It's just, you just can't quite get your head around it, really, to be honest. How long it's going to go on for, and how dangerous it is. And you keep hearing all these different things. Some people say they get over it. Some people say, see, if you get it, it's a one-way ticket to the hospital and checking out. So I don't really know how bad it is. You can't seem to get a proper grip on how bad this thing is.
Ben says, Andy Pilley said there'll be dozens of clubs that will go bust, started a wage deferral, and said Fleetwood are going completely cashless. Card is the only way to pay. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Because you're going to have old people who aren't comfortable with cards, so... But yeah, I mean, you have seen it's sort of being phased in, that we have been to clubs where you can pay card on the gates and you can pay card on the refreshments, which is, well, I've only just started noticing it, but then I've been going non-league for the last couple of years, so obviously you wouldn't have it there. But yeah, that's interesting. I think, well, I mean, cash is, we don't spend cash anymore. We don't, we've been collecting like pound coins and we just don't see pound coins anymore, so our pound coin collection is just like not going up anymore.
No. So. The 1953 FA Cup winners versus the 2010 playoff winners, who'd win? Well, I mean, obviously you'd have to take into account the fitness of the players and the balls and everything, the way they play, but I would say if it was level and they were both playing at the same time with the same ball and the same fitness regimes, I would say the 1953 FA Cup final team would win. I would say they were one of the greatest. They were one of the greatest teams in the land at the time. The 2010 playoff winners were good in the Championship, but the 1953 FA Cup final winners were good enough, almost good enough to win the league if Warren had stopped it and everything else. And the players like Matthews and Morty were like in the England team. So I would definitely say on that level playing field, both with the same fitness. The same regimes, I think the 1953 FA Cup final winners would have beat them.
Nick Muller says Colchester is cashless even for just the programme. Wow, that's interesting. Well, what does this mean to the fanzine? Do I need to rethink the fanzine strategy going forward? Because I don't accept card payments. Ooh. Maybe.
Well, you could. You could.
Well, I suppose I could.
You can get a machine. They're quite cheap. I have a machine for the taxi. They're not very expensive. You could take card. You could use my machine.
Cods Vlogs, do you feel we're in a better place than we were a month ago? What, in terms of the virus, do you mean? I think we're getting used to it. It's becoming normal now, this way of life. I think we're more relaxed. I'm certainly more relaxed. I can go to the supermarket and, I was getting, shortness of breath when I was going, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and now I'm relaxed because of the way things have changed, and I'm just a bit more calm because this is just the way it is, and I feel safer now. But obviously there's more of the virus, and there's things happening out there that we're not seeing because we're safe, in our house, and not seeing that. The situation in the hospitals is. I don't think it's as bad as they were anticipating. I think I was reading something about there's a hotel in. A hospital in Newcastle that they were building that they might not even have to use. So I think it's people generally are managing this. So it's, but are we in a better place than we were a month ago? I think we're in a better place than we thought we might be at this point a month ago.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening out there is worse, obviously, because there's more cases and more people dying than there was a month ago.
We're coming up to full time, folks. It's just a minute past 1:45. We're getting into. There'll be about a few more minutes of extra time for stoppages. So if you've got any last questions to ask us before we go.
Ben says, it feels like we're a month closer to it finishing, definitely. We're starting to think about maybe an exit strategy to this and now, and, it's still a long way off. But certainly. Yeah,
that's interesting, Ryan, about the wrestling and the WWE just being deemed as essential business because the chairman of the company's wife led a meeting that would decide that. Money talks, I can imagine it does, but I can't see it carrying on. But they were talking about having it on an island or something, weren't they? Taking it to an island somewhere, but for people to watch. Ryan was in hospital most of last year, so I'm used to staying in now. Just wonder, well, that must be awful. You just got out of hospital a long time, and now you're back in home again. That must be terrible for you. You can't order from the club shop because no one's there, even online. No, I don't think there's anybody at our club shop either, Nick. So we can't either.
No, they're not sending out. No, they're not sending anything out. But you can order things on Amazon, So it's weird what things are, what retail is still sort of going on out there, but it seems to be different rules for some. Again, money talks. Amazon are massive, aren't they? So, but I know there was something in France about it that they were going to be fining people for non-essential items in France, but I don't know whether they got that sorted out. But we're into injury time now, so is it time for us to sign off? We are. Yes. Is there any last questions before we go? Otherwise, we will see you here. Same time, same place, Lee Charles TV at 3. As always, it's a pleasure talking to you. It gets us through our Saturday. I hope it gets you through Saturday afternoon when you got no football as well. It's just great to chat with you guys. BFC have furloughed most of their staff until May. Harry is still on the grounds. Okay, all right. Well, thanks for that, Elboy. That's an update we didn't know because we don't seem to hear anything from Blackpool Football Club at the moment, which is something that we've mentioned a few times. We don't hear first time I got out for missing the Rangers legend at Bloomfield last March. I went to Fleetwood game instead. Yeah. They were. Was it not played at Fleetwood? The Rangers legends game. I thought that was at Fleetwood. Anyway, yes, time to go, guys. So bye, bye, John. Bye, Nick. Bye, Ben. Week. Thanks a lot. Bye, Ryan. And thanks for everybody else. Week. George, did you know that Blackpool and our division might play in June? Well, there has been an announcement from the EFL that it may be behind closed doors. So we'll see how that goes, and we can all watch it on iFollow. But thanks a lot, everyone. We will see you in the next one. There may be a couple of videos out on our channel in next week. As I say, I've got my little video about making toast, and Jane's got something up her sleeve. Yeah, and look out for the There might be a video on the fanzine as well, because that's coming out. So make sure you help Jane get some sales on a fanzine. And thanks everyone for watching. We do appreciate every single one of you. So thank you.